try to make your kitchen look nicer. That sounds wrong, I know, but stay with me for a moment. I thought the reason I felt tired in the kitchen was because I wasn't organized enough. I kept adjusting, buying, and rearranging. But the truth was simpler. I wasn't exhausted from cooking. I was exhausted from a kitchen that asked too much from me, too many decisions, too much visual noise, too much effort before I even started. And that's why I'm saying this. Making your kitchen prettier doesn't always make it easier. In fact, sometimes it does the opposite. In this video, I'm sharing the small mindset shifts and simple habits that helped me turn my kitchen into a space that actually supports daily cooking without perfection, without pressure, and without complicated systems. We'll talk about clearing friction, reducing mental load, and setting up a kitchen that works for real life. If cooking has started to feel heavier than it should, this video is for you. Watch until the end, and if this resonates, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow along. There's more calm, practical reset coming, and you won't want to miss it. First, let's start with decluttering my fridge. I started by asking better questions. One afternoon, I cleared everything from the fridge door and the top of the refrigerator, every magnet paper photo and note. I wanted to see the space clearly before deciding what belonged there. Instead of asking whether an item was important or sentimental, I asked one strategic question. Does this help me eat better or cook more easily? That question changed everything. It removed guilt from the process and replaced it with clarity. The fridge is not a memory board. It's a working tool for daily meals. My child's drawings weren't ugly or meaningless. I loved them. But they didn't belong on the refrigerator. Every time I opened the door, they added visual noise to a space that already demands attention and decision-making. I moved them to a dedicated wall and a simple folder. Nothing was lost, just relocated. Flyers, reminders, and handwritten notes were another issue. They made me feel busy before I even started cooking. I took 5 minutes to enter reminders into my phone's saved recipes digitally and let the papers go. Once the information was stored safely, the paper no longer had a job. As the fridge became visually lighter, something unexpected happened. I felt calmer in the kitchen. Opening the fridge no longer overwhelmed me. With fewer distractions, I could actually see the food I had. Planning meals became easier. Food waste decreased naturally. A clean-looking fridge doesn't just look nice, it supports better decisions. When the space works with you, cooking feels lighter. And that's the kind of simplicity I aim for in my kitchen now. This small shift is just one part of a bigger reset. Tomorrow I'm sharing a new video about gently resetting your home for the year ahead, making it calmer, more functional, and easier to live in. Don't miss it. You'll likely need it more than you think. Once the fridge felt lighter, I noticed something else. The counter was still doing most of the work and carrying most of the mess. Next, I want to talk about clean my counter. I changed how I cleaned my kitchen by changing the order of things. I stopped focusing on how to wipe and started looking at why wiping always felt so tiring. For a long time, I wiped my kitchen counter every day. I wiped carefully, often, and with effort. Yet, the surface still looked messy and the dirt seemed to come back immediately. I realized the problem wasn't my cleaning, it was the number of items living on the counter. Bottles, utensils, small appliances, jars. Each one collected dust, grease, and crumbs, and each one had to be lifted before I could clean properly. So I tried something different. Instead of wiping first, I cleared the counter first. I put everything away, only the items I truly used daily stayed. Then I wiped the surface in one simple motion. No lifting, no rearranging, no interruptions. The difference was immediate. Cleaning took less time and it felt mentally lighter. Over time, I noticed something else. With fewer items on the counter, fewer stains appeared in the first place. Oil splashes were easier to see and remove. Crumbs didn't hide behind objects. The counter stayed cleaner longer without extra effort. Now my evening routine is simple. Before bed, I wipe the counter for 2 minutes. That's it. I don't aim for perfection, I aim for closure, the feeling that the kitchen is done for the day. When I walk in the next morning, the space feels calm and ready, not demanding. I learned that an easy-to-wipe kitchen starts with an easy-to-see surface. When the counter is clear, cleaning stops feeling endless, and cooking feels lighter too. With a clearer counter, cleaning finally felt easier, but cooking still required too much effort. That's when I realized the problem was how everything was arranged. Now we move into arrange my kitchen. I didn't reorganize my kitchen to make it look beautiful. I reorganized it so I could stop thinking while cooking. For a long time, I arranged my kitchen by nice categories. All spoons together, all tools together. Everything looked tidy, but cooking still felt tiring. I was constantly walking back and forth, opening the wrong drawer and pausing mid-recipe to search for what I needed. That's when I realized my kitchen wasn't organized for use. It was organized for appearance. So I changed the rule. Instead of grouping items by type, I placed them by habit. I asked myself one simple question. Where do my hands naturally reach when I cook? Spoons, ladles, and spatulas moved next to the stove, not in a far drawer. Knives and cutting boards stayed close to my prep area where I actually chop and wash vegetables. The tools I use every single day went into the easiest to reach spaces. No bending, no digging, no rearranging. Rarely used items were moved higher or further away where they wouldn't interrupt my flow. During this process, I also faced another truth: I owned too many duplicates. 3 peelers, 5 wooden spoons that felt the same, tools I hadn't touched in years. I let go of the extras and kept only what I truly used and liked. Less choice meant less hesitation. The result surprised me. Cooking became smoother, almost quiet. I stopped breaking my rhythm to look for tools. Meals felt easier not because I cooked less, but because the kitchen finally supported my movements. As I reorganized by habit, one truth became impossible to ignore. I wasn't struggling because of layout anymore. I was struggling because I simply owned too much. After that, we come to I needed less stuff. I used to believe my kitchen felt cramped because I didn't have enough storage. More cabinets, more shelves, more containers. That was my solution for years. But one day, while struggling to put away a single pot, I realized the problem wasn't space. It was volume. I was trying to organize a kitchen filled with things I didn't actually use. When I opened my cabinets honestly, I saw it clearly. There were items I used maybe once a year, if ever. There were tools I bought because they were on sale, not because they solved a real problem. And there were duplicates, similar bowls, similar gadgets kept just in case. All of them quietly occupied space that my everyday items desperately needed. So instead of buying another shelf or storage box, I did the opposite. I took things out. I removed rarely used appliances, promotional purchases that never became habits, and tools that looked useful but weren't. I didn't rush. I asked myself one simple question for each item: when was the last time I actually used this while cooking? As I let go, space appeared naturally. Suddenly, my daily pots, plates, and containers had proper homes. I no longer had to stack things dangerously or squeeze items into corners. Putting things away became easy, not a puzzle. The biggest surprise was emotional. I felt relief. The kitchen became calmer not because it was bigger, but because it was honest. Every item inside had a purpose. Nothing was fighting for attention or space. I didn't spend any money. I didn't buy new organizers. By removing excess, my kitchen became more functional and lighter to manage. I learned that when a space feels full, the answer isn't always to add. Often, the simplest solution is to choose less. Letting go created space, but one area still felt heavy. Every time I faced the sink, I felt resistance. At this point, let's talk about simplifying my sink. I didn't hate washing dishes. I hated standing in front of a sink that felt chaotic before I even began. For a long time, the area around my sink was crowded. Multiple dish soaps lined the edge, some half-used, some forgotten. Old sponges sat there just in case, even when they no longer worked well. Scrubbers, brushes, random cloths, all competing for space. Every time I approached the sink, I felt resistance, not because of the dishes, but because the space already felt messy and demanding. Once I noticed this, I stopped blaming myself for procrastinating. I focused on the area instead. I removed extra bottles of dish soap and kept only one that I actually liked using. I threw away worn-out sponges and chose one reliable washing tool. No backups within arm's reach. No clutter pretending to be helpful. The change was immediate. The sink area looked calmer, and more importantly, it felt lighter. I didn't have to decide which soap to use or which sponge was still good enough. My hands knew exactly what to reach for. Fewer choices meant less hesitation. I also started wiping and drying the sink every night before bed. Not deep cleaning, just a quick wipe and dry. In the morning, walking into a clean, dry sink changed my mood more than I expected. It felt like the kitchen was welcoming me, not reminding me of unfinished work. As the sink area became simpler, my relationship with dishwashing shifted. I no longer avoided it. I didn't feel mentally weighed down before starting. Standing there felt neutral, even manageable. Sometimes it was almost peaceful. I learned that washing dishes becomes heavy when the space carries too much visual and emotional clutter. When the sink area is clear, the task loses its drama. It becomes just another small, doable part of the day. A tidy sink doesn't make you love dishwashing, but it removes the mental weight that makes it feel harder than it needs to be. Once dishwashing felt lighter, I looked at how I decluttered in general. Next is Stop Overpreparing, where I share why decluttering became easier the moment I stopped setting everything up perfectly. I believed decluttering required the right boxes, matching containers, and a detailed system. I would gather organizers before I even touched a cabinet, and somehow I always felt exhausted before I truly began. Eventually, I realized the tools were slowing me down, not helping me move forward. Now I declutter my kitchen using only 3 things: 1 black trash bag, 1 box for items to give away, and 1 simple basket labeled Decide Later. The trash bag is for anything clearly broken, expired, or unusable. No debate. The donation box is for items still good but no longer part of my daily life. Things I once liked but don't reach for anymore. And the Decide Later basket is the most important one. It gives me permission to keep moving without forcing emotional decisions. By limiting my tools, I keep my momentum. I don't pause to categorize, label, or reorganize mid-process. I make faster decisions because the choices are simple. Keep, let go, or revisit later. That's it. When I feel unsure about an item, a gadget I rarely use, a bowl I might need someday, I don't stand there overthinking. I place it in the Decide Later basket and continue. Most of the time, when I revisit that basket days later, the answer feels clearer. Distance brings honesty. What surprised me most was how quickly my mind felt lighter. Even before the kitchen looked different, I felt different. There was less pressure to be perfect, less mental noise. I wasn't trying to do everything right, I was just moving forward. This taught me something important. Effective decluttering doesn't need complexity. It needs clarity and trust. When the process is simple, we're more likely to finish. And finishing, even imperfectly, matters more than doing it beautifully. You don't need fancy tools to reset your kitchen. You just need enough structure to keep going without losing yourself in the process. Now let's look at the Decide Later basket. Whenever I tried to tidy the kitchen, I would get stuck on little things: charging cables left on the counter, my child's small belongings, random papers with no clear home. Each item demanded a decision, and those decisions quietly drained my energy. Instead of continuing, I would pause, overthink, and eventually stop. So I introduced one simple tool, a Decide Later basket. Any small item that didn't belong in the kitchen or didn't have an obvious place went straight into that basket. Charging cords, toys, loose notes, receipts. I didn't ask myself where they should go. I didn't try to solve the problem immediately. I just kept moving. This changed everything. With one action placing items into the basket, the counter became clear almost instantly. I could wipe the surface, finish cleaning, and feel done. The kitchen looked calmer even though nothing had been perfectly sorted yet. What surprised me most was what happened later. After a few weeks, I revisited the basket. With distance, my decisions felt easier. Many items I once hesitated over were suddenly simple to let go of. Some went back to proper homes. Others were no longer relevant at all. The basket didn't create more work. It delayed it until I had more clarity. It protected my energy during cleaning and prevented small objects from controlling my attention. I learned that decluttering doesn't require immediate answers. It requires momentum. When you give yourself permission not to decide everything at once, cleaning becomes lighter and finishing becomes possible. And finally, we come to My Kitchen Got Simpler, where everything comes together. For a long time, my kitchen looked fine on the surface. Decorative jars, extra utensils on display, small appliances left out because they looked useful. But every time I stepped in to cook, my mind felt busy before my hands even started moving. I didn't understand why until I paid attention to how much visual noise surrounded me. Every item placed in the wrong spot asks a small question from your brain. Where should this go? Do I move it? Do I clean around it? Those tiny decisions add up. Cooking isn't heavy on its own. The mental clutter makes it heavy. So I changed my perspective. I started treating the kitchen as a workspace, not a display area. I asked one honest question about each item on the counter or shelf. Does this make cooking easier right now if something was there mainly to look nice but got in the way? I gave it a break for a season. Not forever, just out of the kitchen. Decorative trays, extra containers, unused tools went into storage. The goal wasn't minimalism, it was a relief. As the space became simpler, something unexpected happened. I wanted to enter the kitchen more. Cooking felt less like a performance and more like a normal part of life. I moved with fewer pauses. Cleaning took less effort. My energy lasted longer. I stopped chasing a perfect kitchen. I stopped comparing my space to images online. Instead, I focused on whether the kitchen supported my daily rhythm, quick meals, tired evenings, real life. A good kitchen doesn't need to impress anyone. It needs to cooperate with you. When the space works as a tool, not a stage, cooking becomes lighter. And that for me is the real goal, not a perfect kitchen, but one that's easy to use every single day. A lighter kitchen doesn't come from doing more. It comes from removing friction, reducing noise, and letting the space support your everyday cooking instead of fighting it. I know cleaning and organizing the kitchen is not easy, especially when you're tired, busy, or carrying a lot already. If you're trying your best to make daily life feel a little lighter, you're not alone. I'm walking this process with you. I also have a separate video about gently resetting your home for the new year in a calmer and more intentional way, and I truly recommend watching it right after this one. Don't skip it. There are ideas in there that can genuinely support your everyday life, and missing it would be a real loss. If this video was helpful, please like, share, and subscribe because you deserve a life that feels easier, calmer, and more enjoyable every day.